Report is a production of ZTV. The NHRA and Southern Modifieds opened their seasons over the weekend. We say farewell to a pair who gave much to their corners of the auto racing world, and a top fuel star is born. Welcome to Speedway Report for Monday, March the 15th, 2021, from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. I'm Patrick Reynolds, and thank you for joining the fastest half hour in racing. We have a YouTube channel. I encourage you to subscribe to it. We can always use more folks on our junk mail. No, seriously, just our podcast being put in your inbox. We wouldn't want you to miss an episode now, would we? You would miss all the exciting results that I'm about to tell you, like the Victory Lane lap from the early St. Patrick's Day Eve days of races. Let's jump back to the southwest corner of the United States. NASCAR's National Series of Xfinity and Cups shared a doubleheader in Phoenix. Sunday's Cup race was won by Martin Truex Jr., his first ever win at that racetrack. Saturday's Xfinity Series run was taken by Austin Cindric. ARCA opened up the weekend on Friday. Grandson Ty Gibbs, was the winner of that race. Now, the NHRA finally got their season underway. Remember when they used to kick off in January or early February at the Winter Nationals in Pomona? That's in California. We all know the drill there. We've been pushed out to the glorious state of Florida, where we've seen a lot of racing so far this year. NHRA opened up with the Gator Nationals in Gainesville. Oh, what a run we had in Top Fuel. Josh Hart ran a 382 to defeat Sean Langdon. Josh Hart, this was his NHRA professional debut. Won in alcohol ranks before, jumps up the Top Fuel, first ever start, runs the ladder, picks up the Wally for Top Fuel. Josh Hart, woo, boom, mic drop and away. In funny car, J.R. Todd won over Robert Height. In Pro Stock, Greg Anderson beat Roy Coughlin Jr. in the final. And in Pro Stock motorcycle, Matt Smith won over Ryan Oler. World of Outlaw Sprints got back in action. They had some neat stuff happen with their series lately. Had a West Coast, California, Southwest area getting ready to race. Several of those events were shifted and postponed from COVID. So they went to Columbus, Mississippi on Friday night. Sheldon Hodden's child won the A main. And Saturday in Monroe, Louisiana, David Gravel took the checkered flag. They were in Florida last weekend, so it's cool that they've been able to shuffle the schedule a little bit, cancel some events, postpone others, but even more props to these tracks that have jumped in to try to fill the gap on a short notice and bring in the Outlaws. And all the crowds at these races have been spectacular and outstanding so far. It's good to see folks supporting the short track world, including the Southern Modified Auto Racing Series in Asheboro, North Carolina, Sunday afternoon, 99 laps, big money. Matt Hirschman comes down from Pennsylvania, wins the race with a last lap pass of Burt Myers. The crowd at Caraway Speedway yesterday really resonated with years past, where we've had some pretty stout crowds. This place in the 80s and 90s, even back 70s, 60s, known as a jewel of short track racing. Not so much in recent years with inconsistent schedules and racing, but the crowd sure showed up yesterday. Way to go, race fans. Caraway Speedway had a very healthy crowd for yesterday's modified race. And in Alabama, the South Alabama Speedway, they ran the big Rattler weekend. The Baby Rattler 125 for Pro Late models on Saturday was grabbed by Stephen Nasse. And Ty Majeski won yesterday's big Rattler 250. Majeski is now the only four-time winner of the Rattler. I told you, my socks are blown off by Josh Hart. Top Fuel rookie winner. Who does this? Who shows up to their professional debut and wins just bang out of the box like that? We've heard of and I love this story. so many underdog winners. An underdog winner we had with Michael McDowell winning the Daytona 500, but far from a rookie. He had several hundred Cup Series starts. I'm thinking in the NASCAR equivalency. I mean, let's stick with NHRA for a few minutes here, and this hasn't happened in 20 years, where a driver made his debut in the Nitro ranks and went on to win first time out. Josh Hart does it. I'm thinking Trevor Bayne in the 2011 Daytona 500 did it in his second career Cup Series start, even though he had starts in NASCAR's feeder series before. Some of the big upsets in the world. Derek Cope winning the Daytona 500. Greg Sacks winning the Firecracker 400. I don't know. You can throw a few more out here where you just did not see this coming out of left field. And, wow, suddenly we've got this winner. Josh Hart, wow. He was almost speechless at the end of it. He's come up through the ladder ranks himself. Lots of drag racing experience, but to just step into Top Fuel, what a great story. Racing needs a shot, more stories like this. I love these shots. I talk about, so many things, sometimes week after week. Kyle Busch touches a nerve every so often, or a Busch brother, or whoever is in the news. What do we got? Stages and playoffs and Cup, which every few weeks cycle around. I got to complain about that, or just the way they're running the sport. Some decisions in IndyCar. There's some sports car racing. My goodness, in the short track world, gosh, I just love this story. We need the positivity. I complain plenty right here. Feel good stories like this. I gotta love them. Josh Hart, outstanding job yesterday, winning in his Top Fuel debut. Let's talk about some hardworking folks as well. Tommy Baldwin Racing. No, not the Cup stuff, the modified stuff. Yeah, the modified stuff. What a weekend they had. Let's talk about this a little bit. I shared this story on my Facebook page. We'll travel back in time, walk you through the fine folks at Tommy Baldwin Racing. This is how racing often goes. People see the victory lane shots and the champagne and the number ones up in victory lane, and everybody's awesome and fantastic. And boy, I want to be a part of that. Here's what racing is really more like more often than not. We just don't hear about it all the time. So Tommy Baldwin's got a pavement modified. You know him, his family history from the modified ranks out of Long Island. His father, one of the greats, one of the legendary names in modified racing coming from Long Island. Tommy Baldwin Jr., former team owner, crew chief, Daytona 500 winning crew chief at that. Writes, Caleb Heady never drove a modified before, and really pretty much a Legends car driver. So Baldwin puts him in his modified for the weekend. These things, some of the Fender fans on my broadcasts here, these open-wheeled steamroller tires, monster horsepower cars, they go to Caraway to go testing for Sunday's Smart Race. Ended up wrecking during the test. Wrecking not a little bit. Wrecked hard. Crash hard. Clip the car. We got to clip the car. So they take it over to Jamie Tomano's shop. He had a front clip that would fit, and he had a jig open. So they test on Friday, wreck the car. At Friday night, they've got the car stripped down to the frame, at least on the nose, and on the jig. Friday night. They finished it back up. New clip, putting it back together 5 a.m. And they went to the track on Saturday and practiced a little bit. Now, they got some sleep overnight, Saturday to Sunday. Qualified 10th, finished 5th on Sunday. Boy, these guys were tired. This is the kind of work that goes into really racing, is the unglamorous, bruised knuckle, torn fingernail, grease, tired, exhaustion, and you keep digging all-nighters and put the car together. Raced, it reminds me of a story when I was racing dirt sportsman cars. I was working on Bobby Knight's pit crew at Middletown, New York, and we raced Friday night at Fonda Speedway. And there was I think it was a monthly sportsman series that we competed in at Fonda on Fridays, but we were running every week at Saturday. So Ricky Mill this year was our big competitor in the sportsman ranks at Middletown, New York, Orange County Speedway. And he wrecks hard at Fonda on Friday night. Well, same type of story. Front clip's bent. They got to bend the front clip. So this is Friday night, so they load up, and I can't remember what kind of car they had. It was an Olson, a Tinio, a Troy, or whatever it was. They load this thing up. They front clip it all night. Don't sleep all night Friday. Saturday, we're not even sure. I'm with Knipes' crew. We pull into Middletown. We don't even know if Mill's going to show up, if the car is too badly wrecked or not. He was our chief rival when it came to trying to win the Sportsman Championship that year and winning races. We're talking 91, 92, something like that. Well, Sportsman just ran a feature that night, as was usually the case, but modified and small block street stocks or preliminaries come through. Partway through the racing program, there's no Ricky Mill, until they show up with the car. They worked all night. Stan Jablonka owned it. They front clipped the car. You got to take the engine out, do everything, replumb the brake lines. Gosh, it was so much work for these guys. Everybody's got bloodshot eyes. You're talking about 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. They've been up, I don't know, since probably 6 a.m. Friday morning maybe. They show up, and that car is spot on, fast, and good, and they won the feature that night. And just so tired, walking zombies, but they did it. This is the type of short track stories that are just legend and lore, and you just don't read about these in the press releases and the stats and the numbers. You look up, Racing Archive race results. It tells you the numbers, but it doesn't tell you the story. I remember Ricky Mills' story and Stan Jablonka's story from 30-something years ago, and I thought of Tommy Baldwin Racing this past weekend with their modified. 5th place on Sunday at Caraway Speedway. Coming up in the short track world, the Bristol Dirt Nationals are this weekend as they get ready for some short track racing, some late models, some UMP modifieds, the NASCAR National Series. They're making a big splash on dirt in Bristol in a few weeks. Early April, we're going to get the World of Outlaws in Bristol. But as we do this show live on Monday night this coming weekend, we're going to pass St. Patrick's Day, middle of the week. We're going to get to the weekend and the Bristol Dirt Nationals for those grassroots short track racers are going to take place. I'm interested to see how the surface holds up, what kind of dirt they use, how racy it is. It's going to be pretty neat. Not saying it's going to be good. It may be excellent. I'm just saying it's going to be pretty neat to see. Remember, they did this 20 years ago. The critics of this, there are valid reasons to be critical about this, but this is not the first time. Don't be shocked. They did this with the World of Outlaws and late model ranks 20 years ago. It's been done at Bristol before. Now, we lost a few good men this past weekend. Salvatore Tinio, the 44 on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, winning races with Bobby Santos behind the wheel. Sully passed away this past week. Just shocked and saddened the Modified Tour community. There are a bunch of great folks, and I can speak from my days, as I told you the story on dirt with Bobby Knipe years ago. On pavement, they're just as tight in the modified world. This becomes like a traveling family together, and they lost one of their own. Tinio Racing, gosh, my hearts go out to you guys with the loss of Sully this past week. On a more national scale, in my neck of the world, of what I do now in racing, we lost Murray Walker in his 90s, F1 commentator, iconic voice of the world of Formula One. Made his debut on the F1 radio broadcast back in 1949. And he was in his 90s when he passed away. If you don't know Murray Walker, think in the United States along the lines of Chris Economaki. Think along the lines of Ken Squire. Think along the lines of Bob Jenkins. One of the iconic voices, knowledgeable guys that can paint the picture, tell the story, or in television rather, you really want to put the caption below the picture of the TV screen of what you're seeing. Radio, you want to paint the picture. In television, you put the caption in there. Murray Walker, gosh, he did it too beautifully. It was a work of art. I'd known who he was. I had listened to his voice. It's an iconic sound of mine. When I heard Walker had passed, I actually wanted to make sure I remembered who it was, and it was. It was the voice that I knew for so long. So many calls from him. The great battles of Ayrton Senna, Alain Prost. So many good ones over the decades. Just remarkable guy. He was that iconic voice. I'm going to call him like my Ken Squire here in the United States. I grew up, and that was the voice that told me the story. They described Walker as high octane. And I'll call that with Ken Squire, kind of like a high octane. Definitive voice, lots of energy. There was the saying, I can't take credit for it, but Ken Squire could read a phone book, and I would listen to him read it. Murray Walker had that type of style and commentary over the Formula One airwaves. I'll miss him. He obviously hasn't been a regular for quite a while, but man, could he paint a picture and talk about it? This is fantastic. I don't do a Walker impression, but that was his cliche line. It wasn't a cliche line. Signature line, we'll call it. Good dude, if you get yourself a chance, if you're killing some time this week on YouTube, just pull up some random, there's so many videos put together. Murray Walker's greatest calls, sayings, greatest moments in Formula One. Oh, you'll know the voice. You'll know the style. Walker, great F1 commentator we lost this past week. And, well, you know what? One of the voices I always admired, Bob Varsha and Dave Despain, they used to co-host, what was it? Motor Week Illustrated. Saturday afternoons, 5:35 on WTBS. We remember that show and these guys with this show right here. And our Racer of the Week. Several good ones. We thought about it, and I just came back to our lead story tonight without much delay. Josh Hart is going to be our Racer of the Week, winning in his NHRA Top Fuel debut. First time out, moving up from the alcohol ranks. What a story, what a drive, what a performance he did this past Sunday in Gainesville, Florida. In between our broadcasts, keep up on the world of auto racing with SpeedwayReport.com. This show and all of our past ones are on the site. We've also got some racing articles to read. Rhonda Beck is a great contributor of ours, along with some other folks on there. I've got some ones from a while back, but please feel free to download a podcast. We're getting close to warmer weather. We just changed the clocks. Spring is on the way in about a week. That means road trips. That means you're going to need something to pass the time. You need a Speedway Report podcast. Go to SpeedwayReport.com. Where else can you find them? On Facebook, on our Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds page, and on Racers Reunion Facebook page. On Twitter, you can find us at Speedway Pat and at Speedway Report, and at the forum at RacersReunion.com. And what did I tell you to do at the top of the show? That's right. Subscribe to our YouTube channel because our shows are there as well. Big thanks to everyone that joined the Facebook Live feed and the conversation during the show tonight. I want to thank all of the military, past and present, for the freedoms we enjoy as Americans in our daily life, including the simple things like bench racing right here on a Monday night. Freedom is not free, and a veteran paid that bill for us. To all of the men and women who are defending freedom and watching Speedway Report, you take care of yourselves and come home soon. A special salute to the teachers, school staff, firefighters, police officers, and paramedics in our own communities. They are quiet and modest heroes every single day. God bless and thank you. You've been watching Speedway Report from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. Please like our Facebook page, Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds, and follow me on Twitter at Speedway Pat. Now, on the Drag Racing List Facebook page at the top of the hour in about 10 minutes, we've got Drag List Live coming up. Bill Pratt and John Bachman will take you through, so head on over to the Drag Racing List page. Now, I'll be back live here on Facebook. It will be March the 22nd. We're going to talk about the 12 Hours of Sebring, NASCAR's National Series in Atlanta, Georgia, and World of Outlaw Sprint Cars in Texas. Thank you all for watching. Happy St. Patrick's Day this week. Cheers. You take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And I'll see you all next week.